Well, hello everyone, Argsy here, and welcome back to Calmsden Agriculture. It's been a couple of months since we've had any videos here from the farm. It's been a bit of a quiet time, really. Things are just growing. Have a look at this field here behind us. Everything's just growing. Look at that canola field over there. It doesn't look resplendent with its yellow flowers all over there. Got linseed in here growing. Everything's just looking nice and green. But for one field and one field only of oats, which we are able to get in. It is that time of year, and harvest is going to start. It's going to start a little bit early with the oats. It's the only field we've got ready to go, which is actually probably a good thing. It means we can get these combines out. Haven't used them since last year. In fact, we haven't even used this one. This is completely new to the farm with the tracks. This one here we've had a couple of years. So looking forward to going and getting them all out, and it gives us a chance to get started without the undue pressure of having other fields ready to go behind us. So if something isn't quite set up right, we can get it all sorted out. So just had a bit of a catch up and a team meeting with everyone. It's all systems go. We've got the two combines, we've got a couple of trailers set up there. Headers also, well, I was going to say all the headers out, but I'm going to take the feet and go and get the other header out. And we're going to start some baling too. Of course, we'll get some straw off the oats, so we're going to have to bale out the big pack and get that running down there as well, using the bale accumulator on the back, which I'm intrigued to see how that's going to work. Hopefully that will make our loading a little bit more streamlined when we come to it, although we've only got that big, and you can see it over there in the distance, the big stacked fork, so we might actually have to see if we can get one of the ones that works well with the bales when they're laid flat, one of those grabs. So we'll see what there is available. Might give the dealer a call and see what I can grab. Anyhow, enough talking, enough jibber jabber. We are going to jump up in here into our little fit. Oh, the other thing you'll notice, everything's clean. Everything's been given a good wash. Well, don't look at the windrow, but a lot of the tractors, a lot of the things have been cleaned up, ready for action. Things you do when you've got a bit of downtime. So anyhow, everyone's going to start rolling out in just a bit. We're going to go grab the other header, and we're going to head on down, check out this oats field. So we'll get ourselves backed in here to grab the header out of the shed here. In the right spot to get that hooked up. Here we go. That should be about us. And we're going to have to very carefully get this one out of here. It's a bit of a tight turn. Kind of go straight out, and then we're going to have to try and swing around those back wheels. There's just enough space. We obviously got them in here. There we go. That should be us around. Yeah, easy as. Now the other thing we're going to have to make sure is all working is the silo and all the silo systems and storage and everything in there, just to make sure we can store everything. We're going to have a lot of crop to get stored in and put away, but let's head on down. It's a little bit tight down in the field to get things all hooked up, but I think we've got a plan, we've got a system that we'll be able to use. The combines have come in from the other direction, we're going to come in from another direction, and that should mean our headers are on the right side for them to get hooked up to. So let's get on down there and see how things are. We'll get set up and get started. So this is the field up here on the right. You can just start to see those oats there. This is a tough one to get into. In fact, a lot of the fields here on in the area are very tight to get into. You've got the tree on one side, narrow gates, fence posts, all sorts of things to deal with. But we'll get in past there, and then if we try to get past that back wheel, yeah, that's cleared that now. I'll make sure. I just need to swing out a little bit and try and square it up. See if we're going to. I don't think we're going to get that around, are we? I almost need to go squarer through than that. Let's see. Oh, it's going to be tight. Are we going to have to go through some of the crop, I think, here, just to get it in? We're going to catch that wheel on the gate post. I think we are, aren't we? Just. Right, let's see if we can get this maneuvered across just a little bit more. Of course, doesn't make it easier with the articulated head there on the front of the header trailer, but we go across, start turning about now. There we go, that's through, and I'm just going to clip a little bit, just the edge of the field there, just taking out a few plants, but that's us in. Right, impressed that everyone else managed to get in. Now we've caught the back of it on the other side. Alright, that looks like we're a little bit tighter stuck. Might need a little bit of gentle persuasion for this one. Here we are, all clear of the gate now. Let's get on down here. You can see everything's all parked up there. Looks like I've got the one header in place to go in front of the combine. I think we're going to be able to sneak past there, are we? Maybe we will. We'll give it a try. Just going to get past here without catching those snouts there on the front and right. So if we go right through, the other combine and get that one hooked up, and then we can use that header on the first combine there. There we go. Right, that's about as good a spot as any. Right, we're going to spend a couple of minutes, get everything up and running, and get started in the field, get the first oats cut. So we're up here in the second combine. Thought, well, we need to have a chance to drive the new one, don't we? So let's go and see how things are working. See, Dan down there is already underway with the first combine. I'm going to take a few headlands off and then we'll get into the field proper, but so far things seem to be running all right for him. Let's just have a look here. That's us all unfolded. I think that should be our header button on. That's everything up and running. I think we're all good to go. Let's just lower that down. Make sure we're on our straw swathing setting. There we go. Get those tailboards down so we're dropping straw instead of spreading straw. And we should just be able to get into it. Perfect. There we go. Cutting our first crop here for the year on Calmsden Ag. That's quite exciting, really, isn't it? Field of oats. This was actually one of the first fields we planted, wasn't it? Surprised actually that it was mature so much faster than everything else, but there we go. Yielding, not too bad, 5% in here already, so that's looking pretty good. I should actually jump out and have a quick look at the moisture levels and just do a little bit of a test, sort of a sample here on the first few grains of oats that we've got into the hopper. So I might just pull that up there, back up so we don't end up with a big pile of straw in one spot. And let's go have a look and see what it's like. Well, I'll tell you what, look at that. We are pretty much right bang where we want to be with our moisture levels. 14% moisture, perfect moisture is 15, so we're just a touch on the dry side, but look at that yield bonus. We're getting 230%. That is huge. That is huge because of the moisture levels. Realistic? Probably not as realistic as it could be, but there we go. I probably need to check to see if I've actually updated the realistic weather mod to make sure we are running the most recent version, because I don't think we are. But yeah, there we go. First few oats cut and into the hopper, which does mean probably with that sort of yield that Dan's going to fill up very quickly. So we better get Damien all sorted up here on the trailer. We've only brought down one trailer to start with. We weren't sure what we needed. We've got the two headers. Well, we've left the tractor and the two header trailers down here as well. James and Sally are heading back to go and grab the other tractor and the baler as well, and they'll be back down here very soon. But that's us up and running. We'll get Damien going, get him sorted out to make sure he knows what he's doing, and then we'll be off. Get around the field a couple of times and yeah, just get this field opened up. Not sure how long it's going to take. Haven't actually looked to see what sort of area we're covering at the moment, but hopefully get through it reasonably quickly. There's no weather or anything to worry about, so we should be fine. Beautiful day to be out in a combine. So let's get this up and running again. Header on, lower that down, and we are just going to head off and make a start. So hopefully things are going to work out. Of course, using auto drive in a slightly different way here, because we're not using a grain cart that you can unload on the edge of the field into a truck. We are actually using the trailers. I didn't actually, at this stage, I haven't actually had to create an additional course. We've just used the waypoint here in the field as where our grain cart waits, or our grain trailer waits, and then it goes down and dumps into the main farm silo. So it'll be interesting to see if that's going to work or not. We can see there that the other combine, Dan's combine, is full, so he's going to hopefully get an unload. So we just need to wait and see. I can't actually see Damien in the background, so maybe he has driven off. One of the vagaries is probably driving across the field to get there. In fact, there you go. You can see a grain cart just heading, or grain trailer heading through there. So not ideal, but it's the system we're working with, and it's what's going to work for us. So we're just going to carry off on here. I'm also driving this first headland manually rather than using course play, so hopefully I'm doing a good job with the overlaps. We could end up with a little bit of a mess at the end, but I've been really enjoying driving in cab a little bit more on Farming Simulator so far with 25, so yeah, I want to try and do that just a little bit more. But anyhow, let's crack into this first headland. We'll get the field open up and we'll be into some proper harvesting. So we come up on our first lap of the field. Looks like we're having a few issues. I think the baler's on its way in down there, and the trailer's got stuck on its way out. I'm not sure what the orange one's doing. It's gone through the hedge somewhere as well. And we've got a combine down there that's just waiting to be unloaded. Which is a bit surprising actually. The orange trailer I thought was doing a pretty good job and got there on its own. But we're going to have to go over and manually go and take over and fix up that little accident down there. But before we do that, we will get around the corner here. This one's actually going to be full too, which is not ideal, but we might get this one set up and going on course play in just a little bit as well. Now, just a little bit of the behind the scenes. I've actually set course play up to run just a single combine because I wanted them to be running different lands in the field rather than doing shed rows. So we'll take a little bit of a look at that in just a wee bit. But there's actually no point putting this on course play yet because it's going to get to full. It wouldn't actually go anywhere. So we'll leave this here. We'll go and fix up the little mess we've got ourselves into over there. Trying to be smart and sending a baler down to the same field that a trailer's trying to leave just doesn't fit. So we'll go and get that sorted out in just a second. There we are. This one is pretty much full. So we're at a standstill. We need to go and get that running. So probably the easiest task is to back this one back in the gate. Hopefully these ones will take a turn coming through. Just have a look here. Yeah, they tried to, but the weight's getting caught up there on the Massey. Right. Tight fields and narrow gates don't work very well with course play, or auto drive for that matter, but we will get it working. Get this one in properly. And hopefully the baler will make its way in. Well, there we go, we've got the combine up and running. These trailers only have 24,000 litre capacity, so 2 combines actually fills them up, or not even 2, 13,500, so we can't even get 2. Now, for whatever reason, the other tractor's gone all the way down there. I'm assuming it's going to come and turn around and get going. We've set that combine off and going. So just to speed things up, we've jumped here into the tractor. We're going to go and get this one unloaded, dumped into the farm silo, and then we'll be able to try and keep an eye on the other one being driven by Damien at the moment to make sure that gets into the right spot. See what happens. Anyhow, let's get on down here. Like I said, this is our first go at harvest here. It's a little bit of a soft start. We're not in a hurry, but it would be nice to get these things all working because we've got a lot of fields to go, and I'm planning on heavily relying on course play and auto drive to get them done. Otherwise, if I have to do it all manually, we are going to be in quite an epic harvest. So out of interest, let's see how this works. I have turned on auto drive to see what happens with this course. Now I don't actually know how it's set up to back into there. Of course I didn't build the auto drive course, we're using a pre-built one, probably a modified one from Farming Simulator 25. We have sailed straight past the trigger. I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen. There we go, so we're on a reverse course. Fingers crossed we're going to get this trailer turned around and backed into there. I can already see what our next problem is going to be, is the other tractor is going to get here. There it is, and hopefully it'll actually get past us. It's waiting back there because it knows we're in the way. But look at that, I am suitably impressed actually. That is a fantastic job there with auto drive. Backing all the way in, should get over the trigger. There we go, look at that. Something's worked out for us. Something has worked out perfectly for us. So this should dump out, get all these oats into the silo, and then head on back down the road. Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen here because we're going to have two tractors in the way, or maybe this one will wait here and let the other one go past. Does look like that is what's going to happen. There we go, hopefully they can get into enough of an offset that they won't clash too much down here on the road, because that's going to be a bit of an issue with the narrow little lanes. But turn out and just about whack the wall. That's pretty tight, but there we go, perfect. Oh, I'm impressed with that. I am proper impressed with how that's all worked out. So this will head on back down to the field and hopefully go and unload the furthest combine. We might actually even manually overtake and override the unloader when we get down there, just to make sure we can get those combines moving, because the lead combine's stationary. The second combine will be catching up and be close to full pretty soon too, so that might be the best bet. And it does look like the combines are all caught up, so definitely do need to get down here and take care of this manually. But that's already a big swath of the crop taken out of here with those 4 headland passes. We don't even have the biggest header possible. I think it's about a 10.8 metre wide header. I didn't want to go any larger just because it would, one, be too big for the map. I mean, it almost at this size is almost too big for the map, and I'm sort of almost questioning whether these combines are too big. But so far, I think this is, I'm just trying to think of the fields we have. This is probably the hardest one in terms of access. These ones over this side, I think the other side should be a little bit better. But there we go. Let's get that into the right spot. Start getting it unloaded and get this one moving again, and then hopefully we'll have both trailers all caught up, both combines moving. And there we go. This should smash out a bit of capacity in these hoppers and allow the combines to keep doing their thing for a little bit longer, hopefully without any more interruptions. I don't think they'll quite, they might just about get around to the top of the field. But regardless, let's get this one back moving, head on down, it can go and unload. And I'm pretty sure now the baler is going to be a little bit of an obstacle for the next trailer when it gets back. I can't see it up there just yet, but not to say it's not waiting there, but let's just go and find out, and hopefully that'll come over and take care of these two combines. In fact, there it is. Just popped into sight, and it won't actually do anything because it hasn't reached the trigger point yet because the baler is waiting on it. So that's what I mean about having to go and get that moved. Right, more little things to tweak. So there we go, second trailer is moving, and we've got that all sorted out. Now, I'm just going to, very quickly, have a little bit of a play around. Like I said, I haven't actually used this accumulator here on the back of the baler before, so what I think we might have to do, get that all unfolded. I'm just going to run along the headlands here and just have a, like I said, just have a little bit of a play with it and see how it works. The idea is, obviously, splits 3 bales out on the back, they stack on the little tray. Once you get 3 bales on there, it will unload. So, let's get this powder, get that lowered down, and we'll just see how this all goes. So, get that in there. In fact, let's just double check our bale size because I want to make these as big as we can. Go up to the 240s. There we go. More straw and less that we have to worry about handling, which is always going to be a pleasure. Right. Just take these headlands off. I'm not going to go around the field. I'm actually going to take these 4 rows off the end here and just see how it all works out. Intrigued to find how it goes. So there we go. First bale is coming out. Now I'm assuming this one will be pushed where that bar is on the left of it. I'm assuming it's going to push it to the right. Once it sits on there we go. That slides to the right, and then the next bale will come out and that bar will push it back to the left. And then the third bale will come out and that will be the one that gets dropped off. Now, what I might actually do, just to make sure we don't drop any bales off here in the way, is I will actually redirect down here, and we'll run down this headland, down this edge of the field, just to make sure we get everything kind of out of the way as much as we can. There'll probably be some turning here, but there we go. Next one out, and that's pushed there. Now, the next question I have, if I bring up my help menu, can we turn on an automatic unload? I can't see an option as I scan down there, so I just wonder whether it's going to dump them out automatically anyhow once we get to a full 3. I'm guessing that's going to be the case, but we'll find out in just a second because we're not too far away from that third bale. There we go. Ah, there. Exactly that. So, perfect. It drops off, and we've got 3 bales basically together, ready to go. So that's pretty impressive. I'm happy with that. So, we'll turn that off. Like I said, I'm not actually going to go any further with this because what I want to do is actually get the combines in and the headland, working in their lands, and then we'll get the baler going into that. Here comes our tractor back. In through the gate okay? I'm trying to keep an eye on it. Yep, it's through the gate just fine. Right, let's park that up there, and we're going to go over, let the first combine, which is running its 3rd headland technically, we're going to have to take that one over and put it in a different section, because the second combine, which is running the 4th headland, will go and start the first lot of lands. So we'll get that sorted out. That's also a little bit of a frustration because it unloads on the go. We'll find that this combine, that one will just keep on unloading, this one will never finish unloading, but at least we've got another trailer here which might come and take care of it. Or it's going to end up full just as we get to the very end. Look at that. Hardly anything left for it. Just wait and see what happens here with one of these trailers will come and unload it. The orange one going to? Or are we going to see the yellow one? It surprises me if the yellow one does, because the back combine's going to stop in just a second because it won't go any further because of the convoy mode. Orange one's off though, and this is going to be the issue because the orange one will probably go, I can catch you. Except it's going to go, what, the whole way around the field to catch up? Probably not the best choice it's made. Let's just see. This one's finished out the back there. Doesn't look like it's going to come any further. Maybe. Right, we'll just wait and see what happens here. Well, it did say waiting for call, so I'm assuming it's not going to get a call from this lead combine because it's asked the second trailer to come down, so we're actually just going to get in here and override that because we could be here for some time if we let that go, except it's going to want to unload on the move. So many inefficiencies right now. Right, so get that in the right spot. It's just going to make it a little bit harder because it's going to want to turn right in a second to get over onto the next path that it thinks it needs to harvest. We can keep up with it. There we go, we're just about full. Just want to get this trailer full. There it is. Right. That's done, we can head off, and hopefully that other trailer, which is just about done a lap of the field, will catch up in just a second. We need to move that combine onto a different course anyhow now. Right, we go in there, press play again, and that'll get to the main silo point. So there you can see the combine heading down the first land it's doing. It only looks like a 4-row. We've got 2, 4, 6 just there, and then this one's kind of a bit on an angle, which must be 2, 4, few more than 6. So I reckon we must have 6 here, and then possibly 2 more over there on the edge. So I reckon if we just jump in here somewhere, hoping it's going to be about this one. It doesn't quite look right. I'm just going to have to try and figure out which one's which here and get it in the right spot. Right, I think it's this one here. We'll just press this and go down. Just looking at where it comes from. That comes from the end of the last land and connects up here to this one. So get that into that spot, press nearest waypoint. That should head off down there. So now we've got both the combines kind of opening the field up and doing that instead of running side by side, which I think, I don't know, someone might correct me if I'm wrong, just feels like a more authentic way to do it in these type of fields rather than running close by each other. So hopefully that's going to work out. We'll wait and see exactly how it all runs. But like I said, now that we've got that up and running, we can start to think a little bit more about getting the baler going. We'll have to wait and get the baler running on the first land, which is where that far combine's going. Give that enough time to get a bit further ahead because the baler will run a whole lot faster. But there we go. Now if we just have a look here, this is telling me we've got 33 minutes left. So that's the time left for this combine to finish right across the field, not taking into account any waiting time on unloads or anything like that, which means the other combine's probably going to have a little bit longer. Let's go and have a look. This one's saying an hour and 30 minutes, so it's only got an hour until it'll catch up to where the other one is with those 33 minutes or so. So maybe not quite right in the middle, but near enough for this exercise. So yeah, about another hour or so to go. We should have the field pretty much finished. Now I'm hoping the beauty of this system will be that a grain cart will tackle a combine each. You can see the other trailer over there with the furthest combine, which is pretty close to full and having to do a cut in by the looks of things. And then this other combine down here, which has made it down one end and turned around and heading back. So I'm hoping that they'll basically work independently with a combine each. I haven't set them up to do that, but it's kind of looking like that's the way it might work out. So the only downside to that is I guess they'll both get full at around the same time, and then end up having to basically avoid each other on the road, which might not be ideal. But let's just have a look here. Hoping to see the furthest tractor, the other one, head on up. There we go, that's moving up to go and unload that combine, and hopefully this one's going to go and catch up to that one. I'm not sure how far away it is from being full, but it can't be too far. Well, there we go. Let's just put the call out to say it needs to be unloaded. So carry on and catch on up. And there we go, it found its way down here. Went a little bit of a circumnavigation of the field, a little bit. Wasn't the most efficient way, but got here in at the end, and things are moving. The other combine's all unloaded, so yeah, things are ticking along, not requiring too much intervention. We'll just leave them to their own devices and let them go. Now I don't know whether we'll keep on harvesting with 2 combines in one field. Just take a quick look at the map. Now the reason I say that, if we just look around some of our fields, we've got kind of a swag of fields through here which are close to ready. These ones over here are close to ready. Field up the top there, if we just have a look, how we got wheat here. So basically our wheat and canola are going to be our next fields which are ready. So we could conceivably run a combine in each of these fields for the wheat. Maybe one combine up here on canola, one on canola here, get them both in there together. Then maybe both in here together on the wheat. And then we're still going to have 2 fields of linseed and another field of oats to harvest before we get into the maize and the maize silage, which we could still be doing at exactly the same time as we're harvesting. Let's have a look at our crop calendar. Where is our corn? So our corn's already around October. Of course, we can harvest it green, so it might be September, October. And just looking at our window, canola will be harvested, but it's our linseed is in September. So there might be a little bit of overlap potentially, finishing off the linseed while the canola is still being, while the corn's started. But got to remember we've only got 5 staff, so it might not even be possible to do that. Anyhow, things are running, things are moving. We'll get the baler up and going in just a little bit, but for now, I'm going to throw the drone up, grab some shots, and put together a little bit of a montage. of a status update. Things have gone quite swimmingly. Now I did realise that I had 5 bits of equipment running, and while I was using the drone I wasn't technically in one. Let's just say I was driving the baler here where we are now and operating the drone while we could do that at the same time. But yeah, things have gone. I've been quite impressed with how this is all working out, except for me now not driving down the right line. But yeah, once we get into it, it's always the case. I say this every time I do something with auto driving courseplay. Get the headlands opened up, get the field started, and things will run much smoother than they do right at the start. And there's a case in point here. So we'll have to have a look and see exactly how much wheat we've ended up with, because I feel like the 2 trailers have spent more time running down to the grain store than they have actually in the field, which is a good thing. Interestingly enough, you might have picked up in one of those shots, is one of the grain carts actually headed out that gate up the top there and went right up around the top of the map. So a few different ways to get there with the auto drive course, which is nice. But yeah, things are going smooth. So we've got a little bit more time left here to go. This combine in front of us is just started on the main land here in the middle, which will be the last section. The other combine's got 1 or 2 passes on the other side, not too much more to go, and then they'll be finished as well. And then I think if I was to put this back on auto courseplay, the baler would tell me there's about 40 minutes of work left here, plus of course there is the headlands that need to be done, which haven't been. So yeah, just carry on with it and get more of this all finished off. So quick little time lapse here while we do some more baling, and we'll see you again when we're finished. The combine's coming up on the last little bit of the field there. We're going to have to jump into that and stop it because of the way I've done the course. It's going to carry on going and run over this bit that we've already harvested, but that's been pretty successful, I must admit. Quite happy with how things have worked out overall. As always, teething issues, babysitting, a little bit of fine tuning is needed here and there, and it never runs 100% perfectly, but for the purpose we're using it for, I think it's gone really, really well, and all the team have acquitted themselves perfectly for the start of our harvest. We have got a lot of fields ahead of us. I haven't tallied up all the land that we've got at the moment. I know we did it in one of the early episodes, but I'll do a little bit of a tally on the screen of all the fields and how much we've done, and we'll keep it a sort of running total of our harvest and percentages complete over the upcoming episodes, because for better or worse, it is going to be a lot of harvesting, a lot of combine time, a lot of grain trailer driving time coming up in the next wee while. Now, I'm just going to go around this. In fact, let's just leave this here because we need to go and sort this other combine out. So we'll turn that off, leave that tractor just sitting there, and go and jump in the combine, stop that, and we'll probably wrap things up for today. Leave the baler, they can carry on and get this all baled, and we'll come back next time to probably having to load some bales, although we're going to have to skip into the next month, get into August, probably have anything else ready to harvest. 5,500 litres left here in the combine. This trailer will come and get that unloaded. There's another 24,000 litres in the other trailer, which is on its way to the silo, so let's just have a look, see how much we've added, or how much we've made. So what do we add another? So we've got about 30,000 litres sitting here in the field, plus what's in the silo. And there we go, already 239,000, let's call it 240. So we've got 270,000 litres of oats off this one field. Peak price, when it comes time to sell in January, $153,000. So put another, 30,000, another 10% on top of that. Now we're going to get another 15, so potentially $170,000 just off that first field. Have to check and make sure we're on our hard economy setting, which we do like to use. But there we go. Look at the straw as well, 800,000. We should have actually had a look to see how much we'd baled in the baler, but there we go. That is us all done. Don't ask me what that trailer's doing, but for whatever reason decided it wanted to run the whole way around the field before it went and unloaded. But yeah, like I said, that is us all done. We'll get everything tidied up, get these combines folded up and put away, and well, I'm not going to put them away, we'll stage them here, because from here we'll roll into the next field. So there we go, that is us all done for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Lots and lots of harvesting. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.